What's up, buttercups? Welcome back. I am back today with a sassy new do and a sassy new movie. I'm also channeling fall today with my autumnal ensemble. Channeling a golden hind. I decided I got this headdress for something else and I just thought I'd wear it just for fun because I feel like if I dress for fall as fall will come and it will happen and summer will be over. I also have my magic potion, $3 Target mug, some nice hot tea in there. But yeah, I got a sassy new movie I want to talk about. Today we're going to be talking about the 2023 folk horror film, so I'm very folky today, but a folk horror film called Unwelcome, which is featuring a creature I don't think we see a lot of, which is little folk, which scare the bejesus out of me. All the stories involving like little folk or fae folk, they really like get to me. So this was a really fun one to watch, and let's just get into it. So our story begins in London with our leading characters, Maya and Jamie. Maya and Jamie are about to have a romantic dinner. Maya is taking a pregnancy test. They've been trying to have a baby, and so she goes to take the test, and she comes back and it's positive. And it's a very joyous moment, and it's very cute. And Jamie's so excited. He decides he's going to go down to the corner store by their flat, and he's going to get some champagne, non-alcoholic, of course, because Maya is pregnant. So he goes down to the corner store, and there's these like hoodlums outside, like just these hoodlum kids, and he's trying to ignore them. He's an adult. He's just going in, going out, getting on with his night. So he goes in, they harass him when he goes into the store, and he just kind of ignores them. And so on the way out, they proceed to harass him again. This time getting more physical. They throw like a trash bin at him. And that's when he like turns around and like yells at them, which kind of just incites them. So in the next scene, so he goes home, he takes the train. Goes back home, or he doesn't live that far, but anyway, he goes back home, and Maya's like in the bathroom, and she hears him coming. She's like, "Hey babe, blah blah blah." Oh, and she's just excited, just talking about stuff, and she's so happy. It's a really happy moment, but she suddenly hears like this crash, and the hoodlums have followed Jamie home, and it's a home invasion. And then they start they're beating up on Jamie, and then they start beating on Maya, and it's pretty triggering for some people. It's a pretty violent scene because she's on the floor and they're kicking her in the stomach, and we know that she's pregnant. So it's very upsetting, but she manages to get a knife, and by the way, Jamie's just been beat. He's like on the ground already. They've already beat the crap out of him. So he can't really do anything to help her protect her. So she grabs a knife on the counter, and she holds it up to like the lead hoodlum, and he comes there, he puts he goes up to her, he's like, "Oh, you're gonna do it." And the whole time my boyfriend and I, we were screaming, do it, stab him, get him, he deserves it, he's scum, he might have just, hurt your baby. And he deserves it anyway. But that's what we're screaming, do it. But she doesn't do it. She doesn't do it, and so they just leave because they've made their point, basically that she's weak and she's a victim. So after this really brutal opening scene, it's a few months later. The next scene is a few months later, and they're driving like in a countryside that we can see. And what's happened is that they are moving to Ireland now. Jamie has inherited a house in the Irish countryside from his Aunt Maeve, and they're going to go live there now, away from, the dangerous London in the bad neighborhood. So now they're gonna live in picturesque little Irish village. It's so nice. It's really good timing. And we see that Maya is still pregnant. She's very pregnant, so thank goodness. So she did not lose the baby. That's still very good. So when they arrive at his aunt's neighbor, they've been neighbors a very long time, and her name is Neve. It took me a while to figure out that her name is Neve, because his aunt is Maeve, and she's Neve, and they say it kind of the same. It sounds almost the same thing. Actually, when I paused, because I'm like, what is this woman's name? Because I know it's Maeve, or she all. At first, I thought she was also Maeve. I'm like, is she Maeve also? There are two Maeves, but it's Neve. But they're saying it the same way, and even when you pause it, and I'm on my Shudder, with link to Amazon, but and it will tell you like the actors and their names. It even said Maeve, so I'm like, is she Maeve? It's Neve. But I think that is way too close to Maeve, so I'm gonna rename it and I'm gonna call her Dorothy, because she looks like a Dorothy to me. So that's what we're gonna do. So anyway, Dorothy's showing them around the property, helping them get settled in, and then she mentions just a tiny little thing that they have to do. It's just a little thing. This is the little thing. So she mentions that our Auntie Maeve believed in the old ways. And when you go to the back of the house, there's this very old stone wall. It's got a normal, like regular size door, and then there's a little door on the side. And she says, so she believed in the old ways. And so every day at sunset, she would go and she would leave a blood offering for the little people. And this kind of looked at her, was like, oh, what do you mean? She's like, yeah, the little people that live in the woods, all you gotta do is at sunset leave a blood offering, some liver's fine, just leave that for them in the little door, everything's gonna be fine. It's just a little thing, gotta do it, but please do it every day. Don't forget, do it every day. So Jamie's really excited about this story. He's like, oh, leprechauns, yay! He's like, brilliant. And Dorothy explains, she's just like, no. It's not leprechauns. They're called red caps. They use another word for it. I should have done some more research to find out about like the history of these little people, because it's really cool that there's a lot of countries like over in Europe, they all have like little folk stories. And they're all creepy. But and it has an Irish name. I can't pronounce it, so I won't try. I'm just gonna call them what their general term for them, which is red caps. And that's what they are, and they are not leprechauns, and they are not cute. So because Dorothy, yeah, she was very emphasized. She's like, no, it's not leprechauns. We're not getting some Lucky Charms. We're not going on some following the rainbow to some gold. That is not what's happening here, guys. Just leave a blood offering every day, please. Don't forget. So Dorothy even further explains the reason why Maeve was leaving the blood offering, because she used to do it. It's a long time ago. So she used to leave the blood offering, and then for a while she just forgot and she just stopped doing it. And then her husband and her child died of pneumonia. And she always told Dorothy that she thought it was because she had turned her back on the red caps. She just started to ignore them. So after that, she just left them a blood offering every day until she died. So she's really emphasizing that Maya needs to do this. She even offers to do it, and I think this is really nice because she's super pregnant. She's got a lot on her mind, and she's got to fix up this house. She's like, I'll do it for you. And Maya's like, no. She's like, I'll do it. She's like, I'll do it. It's like, okay. But yeah, just do it. She's like, really like, please do it every day. Leave an offering for the red caps. It's a little blood offering. So here's I have a little question. If you inherited a house, like an old house, like all of a sudden you just inherited a house, or you got a house really cheap, you know, in this economy. And they're like, well, there's one little thing, it's haunted, or there's like a demon hole in the back, or a family was murdered here. Would you get it? Would you accept it? Would you live in it? For me, I'm thinking, in this economy, hell yeah, I would. It's a free house. It is a free house, and in this housing market, you cannot afford to pass that up. So yeah, I'm gonna live in the haunted house, or I have no problem leaving a blood offering. I'll go get some squirrels or something. I'll leave them for them too, you know? It's whatever. I will do that. What the? Oh, it's my cat. Oh my god. I was looking into, like, in between the screen, and I saw something moving, and so I looked at the screen, and I'm like, please tell me that's my cat. Scaring myself over here, guys. Scaring myself. It's like, please tell me that's my cat. It is. And that's the point of having cats. And I have 3. I can blame literally everything on them, and I don't have to worry about stuff. Yeah, I just like scared the crap out of myself. Okay. Alright, back to the story. So Maya's agreed to leave the blood offering. Dorothy goes home. Now we have this montage of Maya and Jamie, and they're getting their house together, and it's cute, and it definitely needs some work. There is a hole in the roof, like in their master bedroom. So there's a hole up there, and they need to clean that up. And so they're looking around at all this stuff, and they actually find a picture of Maeve's child. They actually find a little picture of her when she was little, and they're like, oh, do you think that was Maeve's child? It's so sad. Oh my god, it's so sad. So next scene, Maya and Jamie are going to the store. They're going to get provisions, and they really, really need to get the hole in the roof fixed, as Maya is very pregnant. It's the master bedroom, and so they need, like, you know, they need climate control and everything for when the baby comes. So they really need this done, like, really quickly. So they're looking around for construction people. They're calling people. Nobody is available. So after leaving the store, they're driving down the road, and then they just see a sign. They're like construction builders, and like, oh, let's just pop in. Let's just pop in and see if they have something. Let's see what they got. If they have time, if they have on schedule. But anyway, they go over there, and they're walking up, and it's kind of like kind of trailer park looking, kind of, you know, trashy looking, but whatever. They're walking up to it, and this Rottweiler dog just kind of jumps out. He's on a chain, thank goodness, and just starts barking at him. And Jamie jumps behind Maya. Like, seriously, I'm like a giant dog jumps out, and you jump behind your pregnant woman. Oh, I have so many things with Jamie doing stuff like this in this film. Like, I don't really blame her for what happened in the very beginning, because it was like 3 guys against 1 beating him up. There wasn't a lot he could have done about that situation, but it's like, if a dog jumps out, don't jump behind your woman. Oh, Jamie, what am I to do with you? But anyway, so he's on chain, so they go up to the door, and door opens, and guess who it is? Guess who it is? It is Hodor! It's Hodor from Game of Thrones. I was like, oh, Hodor, he lives! My heart sang. I was so excited to see him. I was like, Hodor! And boyfriend's like, what? I'm like, no, Hodor! Like, I think because the last season was so bad, he's just kind of whopped it from his mind. But I remember Hodor. That's still good. That's still good stuff. But anyway, so they do hire him, and then they, like, triumphantly, now we've got someone to fix our roof. Now let's go to the pub. Maya's not gonna drink, but we are gonna have some really good grub. So they walk into the pub, and they walk in, and like everybody's just turns and just looks at them. silently. Everyone just looks at them. But then they start laughing because it's all a joke. It's like, freak out the new people. But then they all start laughing, give them a pint. It's all good. It's all good. So they're sitting there, they're enjoying their dinner, and this guy's kind of like this barfly, this older like barfly guy, just kind of sidles up next to him, just talking about the house, and he's like, "Oh man, it's gotta be a wreck." And they're like, "Well, you know, it's not too bad, but we did find someone to work on it. They're named as the Whelans." And the guy's like, "Ah, the Whelans. Oh." It's like, "Well, they'll do good work, but and this is very important what he says. He's like, you need to keep an eye on your misses around them because they might do something inappropriate. Just keep an eye on your misses." He says it he himself says it in an inappropriate way, so he gets like yelled at. And Dorothy, she actually owns and runs the pub, so she kicks him out. She's like, "Oh, you've had too much. You've been cut off." So she kicks him out. But yeah, it's important to note that she said he specifically says, "Don't leave him alone with your missus, because something might happen." But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Dorothy runs the pub, and so she goes over to Maya. She's like, "So how are you settling in? Blah blah blah. Did you feed the red caps? Did you leave the blood offering?" And Maya's like, "No, I'm sorry. I totally forgot." And Dorothy just gets this very serious look on the face, and she's like, "Okay, you promised to do it." And Maya's like, "I'm sorry, I will do it." And then she once again, Dorothy offers to do it for Maya. She's like, "Hey, I will come over super early in the morning. You won't even know I'm there. I'll just go in the back and I'll leave it for you. You don't have to worry about it. I will do it for you." And Maya's like, "No. I can't have people just coming over to my house willy-nilly." And then she explains the break-in in London and the trauma and how she just can't have that. And it's like, I understand that, but like, Dorothy is like the sweetest like old lady. It's like, she's not gonna like she's a sweet old lady. Come on, let Dorothy do it. 'Cause she's very insistent. Dorothy's like she's like, but she's like, "You need to do it every day. Like you do need to do it." So Maya's like, she's like, "Wow, you really believe in them?" And Dorothy's like, "Fuck yeah, I believe in them." She's like, I saw it one time. I saw one back there, and they're creepy as fuck. She's like, "These are not little sweet, cute little people. This is not what they are. You do not understand. And they are hungry, and they need to be fed every day. You don't understand. They need to be kept back there." So she's very insistent about it, and Maya's just like, wow. She's still in disbelief. But of course, it's like, how are you supposed to believe something like this? It's like, you might think it's like a small town folk story, but like Dorothy's like, "No, fuck, I saw one. They're fucking creepy." And I would just let Dorothy do it. I'm like, I'm not dealing with this. Just, if you believe that strongly in it, you do it. I have to worry about like this baby situation. So you go ahead. You. So the next scene we have our barfly that was kicked out for saying something inappropriate to Maya. So it's been cut off. So he is kind of stumbling down the road, and he's got his really cute dog, Molly, and they're just going home, and then he hears like a child like crying. So he kind of starts wandering off into the woods. It's like, what was this child? A child needs help. A child needs help. So he starts wandering into there, and he sees like this little child, and he starts walking off, and he starts walking towards it. It's like, hey little guy, hey, you need some help? And then it flashes to him, and I guess the child has turned around, and it's not a child. And there you go. Barfly got. Goodbye, Barfly. That's it. So the next scene is morning, and Maya and Jamie are awoken by a lot of noise, some people in their kitchen, So they rush downstairs, and it's the Whelans. The Whelans are there, ready to work. But they're really helping themselves to Maya and Jamie's stuff, like their food and stuff, like going in their fridge and stuff. It's very rude. And then the patriarch of the Whelans insists that Maya calls him Daddy. He's Daddy Whelan. Daddy. And she's just like, no, I am not calling that man Daddy. I'm just not doing it. Don't blame her because it's weird. But anyway, this is another thing about her not wanting Dorothy there, because she doesn't want people, as you said, she doesn't want people willingly in her house. It's like, but these Whelans are they're just going through your stuff, doing what they want, and and she doesn't seem to be upset about that. But oh, Dorothy cannot come over and super early and just leave the blood offering for me. I don't know. Make it make sense, because it doesn't. Harley. All right, 1 second. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Where's my baby? Oh. Sorry. Cat interlude. Yeah. She wants attention. She wants attention. Yes, she does. And she's so cute. Look at her. Look at her. Love her. Oh, you love it. You love it. You love it. All right, go to your spot. I have a little spot for her so she can... there you go. Go on. Go on. Go on. She has a spot where she can... little blanket set up so she can sit and be near me, because she's insistent on being near me at all times. I was wondering where she was. The other two are well, one's pretty attached to me, the other one is not. That's my Kiki. That's Harley. So Maya and Jamie, while the Whelans are working, they go to the store to get stuff, and we finally see Maya get some liver. Finally see her get like something for this blood offering. Finally. Because we haven't seen her do one thing for this entire movie for these Redcaps. But anyways, they finally do it. Meanwhile, the Whelans are working, but they're just going through all their stuff. Like, they're useless. Like, his kid, like, there's Daddy Whelan. It's not Daddy Whelan. It's his kids. And by kids, I mean, like, people in their 30s who are absolutely useless. They just are, and they're just going through their stuff. Anyway, on the way home, they stop at the church to pay their respects to Aunt Maeve, leave some flowers on her grave. Thank you for the house. Thank you for dying and leaving us your house. No, that's not it. But thank you for that anyway. And they're talking to the priest, and the priest mentions that the daughter, there wasn't a body. Because the way they have the graves, they're kind of listed on one plaque. And so Jamie asks, are they like stacked on top of each other? He's like, no. He's like, they are side by side. It's just the way we do it. And then, so he says, but for the daughter, they never found the body. And Maya says, she's like, I thought she died of pneumonia. Priest just looks at her like, Like, he's never heard that story. That's not it. It's like, okay, whatever. Yeah, so apparently the daughter did not die of pneumonia, so I wonder what happened to her. I wonder indeed. So on the way home from the church, Maya and Jamie, they see Dorothy and like a bunch of people in a field, so they kind of like pull off to see what's going on. And it's a search party because Barfly didn't make it home that night, night before. So they're going, and so they have a little search party, and Dorothy's running it. She's kind of like just all over the town. She's probably just a person in the community that does a whole lot. I like her a lot. I like her character. And she also knows everything, which is awesome. So you gotta have that person that knows everything. But anyway, so they go up to her and ask her if she needs any help, and she's like, nah, we got it. The lads and I got it. We'll find him. We'll find him and his dog Molly. Then Maya asks Dorothy about, hey, we talked to the church, and she's like, Maeve's child didn't die of pneumonia, did she? And so Dorothy finally tells her the truth, the whole truth. She's like, okay, this is what happened. This is the story. So Maeve, her husband had pneumonia, and she went to the Redcaps, and she asked them to save her husband. She asked them to save her husband. And they did. I guess he died later of pneumonia. Not that time. I guess he died later of it. And so they did, but in return, they took her child, or so Maeve said. Maeve said, that they took her child because, and this is the thing about these fae stories, is that there's always people making, you always hear stories of people making deals or bargaining or asking for things from fae folk and stuff like that. And it's like, they'll give you things, but it always comes at a price. And sometimes you don't even know what the price is. They just come to collect. Which I think that's what happened here, is that they just did it and she didn't know. But yeah, that is what Maeve said happened. And Dorothy believes it, of course. She's like, did you feed him? She's like, I'm going to do it as soon as I get home. As soon as I get home, I'm going to feed him. And she's like, okay, I believe you, but please do it. And so they leave, and Maya thinks that maybe Maeve did something, like she was depressed or something and killed her own child. That's what she thinks might have happened. And Jamie doesn't really buy that, but he also doesn't buy the Redcap taking him story, so he doesn't know what to believe. But anyway, it doesn't really matter if they believe. So Maya and Jamie finally make it home, and two of the Whelan kids are on their front porch smoking a joint, and they're working or whatever. So they start so Maya just kind of goes around them, goes upstairs. She's like, I'm so pregnant. I'm not dealing with this. And Jamie's like, get off my porch. Well, just starts this little confrontation with them. So the Whelan kids are really hostile, confrontational or whatever, and they're just really irritating. It's like, just do your job and stop being like bums, just do what we hired you to do. But anyway, Maya goes upstairs to take a bath, and she goes up there and she finds out one of them took a dump in their toilet. Gross. Don't even flush. You don't even flush. So she's about to take a bath, and she out of the corner of her eye, you can see the window, and Hodor is peeping at her. He's peeping at her. So she screams. So the next thing, Daddy Whelan shows up, and he's gonna talk to his kids. He's like, yeah, their mother was good at keeping them in line, but she's passed. She's good at talking to them and stuff. I just beat them. Beat my kids. They'll behave. Don't worry about it. And Maya's like, well, don't do that. Don't beat them. Just, talk to them, but don't beat them. We shouldn't be beating our kids. But that's probably also why they're so shitty, is because their dad is violent. So hurt people. That's how it is. But, you gotta rise above that yourself. Anyway, thank you for coming to my TED Talk. So finally, the Whelans, they leave, and Jamie is really, he has all this rage from the argument, from what happened with Maya. So he goes to the room. He has, a punching bag. a boxing punching bag. So he's going, he's wailing on that. Maya goes, she finally prepares the blood sacrifice, the liver, and she takes it and she goes and she leaves it in the little door. There's this wind, there's this faint wind, and then she looks down and it's gone. It's just gone in like seconds. Because, you know, them little people is hungry. They haven't eaten in days. They haven't eaten in days. Gotta feed the little people, you know? Gotta do it. So next day, Whelans show up for work. They're pretty useless as people. And they have a little accident and they break like the upstairs window and Maya's in there. Which causes another confrontation between Jamie and the Whelan kids. And then Daddy shows up and he just starts beating on Hodor. Starts beating him up. And this is really upsetting to Maya. She mentioned she has a history of before Jamie, she was in like a violent relationship, which she refers to. So she has a lot of trauma from that. So it's very upsetting to her. And also it's like, Hodor's character is mentally like impaired in some way. It hasn't been elaborated on. Just a little slow. But he's so far he seems harmless. Seems harmless. So Maya's taken like I think she just feels bad for him because she sees that he comes from this terrible home and he gets beat on a lot. But anyway, so after that, Maya's just kind of upset, so she goes out to the garden to just kind of work out her own frustration and work on that while these useless people are working on her house. So she's in the garden, and over the garden wall, she hears like laughter or a child. Actually, no. First she hears the dog. So she hears the dog, and she knows Molly's missing. So she goes out there and she calls for Molly. And she hears her barking, and then like when she goes through the garden gate, she can hear like a laughter. That's when she hears laughter. So she goes through the wall, and it's this beautiful, very dark old forest. And she just goes in there, and she's just kind of exploring. It's very has like a mystical way about it. It's an old forest, and it's also very dark. It's kind of haunting. It's creepy. It's beautiful. It's everything you want an old forest to be. So she sees Molly, and Molly seems to want her to follow her, so she just starts following the dog because she seems to be taking her to something. She might think that he's going to lead her to her owner, which she might not know if he's still missing. I don't know. Never followed up. She didn't follow up, so I don't know. So she follows Molly, and she leads her to this round stone cottage, like old stone, like house, and it's very creepy looking. It's got this tiny little door, and so Molly runs inside, and she's barking at her to come follow her. So she goes over and sticks her head in, and apparently it smells really bad. She's like, nope, you can go down there, dog, you can do that. I am not going to go down into this creepy hole because it goes under the ground. It's like this little part's above the ground and it goes under the ground. And she's like, no, dog, no. You do that, I'm getting the fuck out of here. So she leaves Molly, and it's like, I'm sure you'll find your way home. I'm gonna go home. Bye. So on her way back to the house, she sees Hodor in the woods. She sees Hodor, and he's very upset. She goes over to him, and she's just like, hey, you know, he shouldn't be beating you. And he's like, yeah, my dad beats me. And he's like, you know, he says that when I was born, I killed my mummy, and that I should have died instead. And he beats him. And so Maya's incredibly kind and compassionate to him because he's crying, he's having a moment. And she feels really sorry for him. She's like, we'll help you. She's like, we've gotta make this stop. I'll help you. And he's like, thank you. He's like, I like you. And so she takes his hand, and it's a nice moment. It's a nice moment. Until Hodor's like, I really like you. And so in the next scene, we see, or in the continuing scene, we see him like grabbing her and pushing her to the ground. And then it fades to another scene. It's like, so like, oh my God. You just can't be nice to people. You just can't. You just can't. So we don't know what happened, but into the next scene, we see Maya. She's come through like the garden gate, and she just has this look on her face. Not like she's been, like something has happened to her, like we know something has, but she's just like really freaked out. It's more like freaked out, not like, you know, like she just looks really freaked out. So she goes to the house, goes inside, and finds Jamie. By the way, when all this is happening, you know, Hodor in the woods, where is he? He's nowhere to be found. Jamie's just nowhere to be found anytime something's happening to Maya. Nowhere to be found. And so she's like, okay, so I gotta show you something. So she takes him to the spot where her and Hodor were, where he attacked her. And she tells him, she's like, he tried to kill me. And Jamie's like, really? I'll kill him. And so there's like, really, Jamie? Really? Because you've done nothing so far about anything. But sure, you're going to kill him. She's like, no, he's already dead. The Redcaps, they came and they killed him and they took him. And Jamie's like, what are you talking about? And she's like, no, it happened. He's like, no. You kicked him in the balls. He ran off. You know, it's just the trauma and stuff. You think it went this way. That's not how it went. And she's like, no, this is what happened. He's like, no, this is not what happened. And so they get into this big argument, and she's just like, you know, since the assault, you shout more. That's not the person that I wanted to be with. And he's like, and he has, so this is where Jamie has his Oscar moment. He has an Oscar moment in this film. Despite how I feel about his character, the actor does a really good job. And he has this Oscar moment because he talks about, like, you know, he had to watch while she was beat, and there was nothing he could do about it. And he's like, for a man, do you know what that's like when you can't protect your woman? Like, do you know what that's like? And she does not. So he is emotionally spent and drained, and they're just going through stuff. So he's like, I'm gonna go to the pub. And you can do whatever. So he goes off to the pub, and she's just kind of looking around the woods because she knows she is not crazy. She is not crazy. She knows it. There's something here. So Jamie goes to the pub, have a pint, have a little dinner, and he's reading a Krav Maga book. It's like, really, like all the stuff he's done, he's like training and learning about fighting and stuff. That's all he's doing, which I get because of everything he's been through. But he isn't really using any of these skills that he's gaining. But anyway, so the Whelans come into the pub, and they find him, and they're like, hey, where's our brother? He didn't come home. Like, do you know something? And so they look at him like, I don't think you know something. I don't think you did anything, but I think you know something. And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about, whatever. But then Dorothy just kind of kicks him out of the bar. They've been banned from the bar for a while because, you know, they're useless Whelans. So they leave, and then Jamie is kind of like, because he kind of assumed that Hodor would have just, like, run home after that. So I was just kind of thinking to himself, like, well, maybe he just went somewhere, and his mind, and he's like, well, I really just went somewhere else, you know. I mean, if he just tried to assault somebody, maybe he went somewhere else. I don't know. We don't know. Whatever. Meanwhile, Jamie's at the bar. Maya is home. She's confused. She's kind of going through it in her head, just like, she's wondering, you know, am I crazy? Did I see what I think I saw? Is that what happened? So, but her flashback is interrupted by a sound coming from the living room. So she stumbles in there, and oh my god, like, fucking A. There's a little hand on the door, a little red cap, and he opens the door, and there he is. Like, plain as day, there's this red cap creature, and it's just like, when, like, the first time I watched, I was like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Like, no, 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 oh my god. Nope, 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 nope. And so she's standing there, she's like frozen in fear. She's like, oh my god, oh my god. And so it kind of like walks up to her. It walks up to her and like all the way, and he puts his nose up to her cross, takes a big whiff, and says, takes a big whiff, and says, I'm trying to do this right, "Mama with a baby." Just like that. "Mama with a baby." It's hard to do. But he says it just like that. And he's like, ha, and then he still wanders off back. And it's real, it's so creepy. It's so like, oh my god. Oh my god. It's just like, oh. It's just, oof, 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 oof. And so he walks to the door, and she even takes a picture. She has the wits about her to like try to use her phone to take a picture. And then it leaves, and so she's just like in shock, standing there, and then she realizes that it left something. It left a bag, and she opens the bag, and it is Hodor's head. It's his head. It's his head. Oh my god. It's a head. It's like, and so freaking out. But it is an intense, very creepy scene. I loved it. Every minute. Mama with a baby. I can't help myself. I can't help myself. So next, Jamie. Dear, sweet, useless Jamie stumbles home, tipsy from the pub, and comes home, and Maya's like, I have to show you something. And she shows him Hodor's head in the bag, and he's like, oh my god, what did you do? She's like, I didn't do it, the red caps. And he's like, oh my god, you're crazy. Oh my god. Oh my god. What are we gonna do? What do we do? I don't know. She's like, I don't know. She's like, we need to call the cops. Like, tell the cops and tell them what? Tell them that we have a head in the bag? Like, we're gonna go to jail. Like, come on. Like, they're never gonna believe us. And they won't. It's the red caps. The red caps did it. It wasn't me. It was the one-armed man. It was the one-armed red cap. So they're trying to figure out what to do, and the Whelans show up at their house. Daddy Whelan's banging on the door. Where's my son? Where's my son? What did you do to him? What do you know? Just tell me what you know. And so Jamie's like, okay, I will deal with them. You hide the head. So Maya just runs up the stairs with the head in the bag. And Jamie goes to the door. He's like, we're just going to bed. We're just going to bed. I don't, what are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. He's doing a terrible job of handling it. He's not handling it at all. So Daddy Whelan pretends to leave for like a second. I don't really know why, but he pretends to leave. But he's not really leaving. He's just banging on the door, meanwhile, Maya is escaping through the scaffolding. And by the way, the other two kids, there's a girl and another guy, and they're kind of like, guys got climbing up the roof, and the girl's going around the back, and Maya's escaping through like the scaffolding that they set up to work on the house. So she's on the scaffolding, and she's trying to escape there, and the girl kind of yells out like, "Oi, hey!" And she, so Maya drops the bag. She drops the bag with the head, and the girl picks it up, and she is, of course, horrified to find her brother's head in a bag, and it's like, oh my god. She takes it to Daddy, so Maya's like, shit, now we're in trouble. And with the head being taken to Daddy Whelan, we're off to the races now. We are off to the races. We're on this nonstop roller coaster towards the end, with all the the events coming up. So Maya's running through the woods, and she runs over towards the red. She's screaming, "We need your help! We need your help! Please help us!" Just running through the woods saying that. And you keep in mind, don't ask for things from the red caps. There'll be a price, but we know that. We know that. Leading up to that. And by the way, this whole time they're banging on the door, and now it's getting real. Where is Jamie? Jamie is trying to get on the internet to email the cops to get help. Like, I don't know what he's doing, but he's been trying to get on his computer this whole time. It's like, dude, don't you have a cell phone? Don't you have, it's 2023. Don't you have a cell phone to try to use? Why are you trying to use your computer to email the cops? This is the second film I've seen someone try to email the cops. The other one made sense with the time period and everything. And they even explained that the internet was running on a satellite and the phone's lines were out because it was landlines and stuff. So that's what he was trying to do. He's trying to get on to the internet to email the cops. I guess that's what it looks like to me. He's just trying to get on the internet, but it's already out because they knocked out. It shows one of the kids like took the antenna, so they don't have internet right now. Anyway, that's what useless Jamie was trying to do: email the cops. So the very upset Whelans, because I mean, how are you going to act if you have your son or brother's head in a bag? You're going to be very upset and try to do something about it. So they break into the living room where Jamie is trying to email the cops, and he runs off willy-nilly. And so girl Whelan just starts smashing up the place. It's like, fuck it, Dad is like, fuck it up. It's like, okay. So Dad is going off to mess with Jamie. And Jamie's trying to hide. All of a sudden, Jamie's like, oh, Maya. Like, it just thinks about Maya. This whole time, it's like, someone's been trying to break in the house and all this crap. And he does this thing where he's like, oh, Maya. It's like, oh, yeah, right. You have a woman in this home invasion. You should probably try to protect her or something. I can't with Jamie on this topic. He's just kind of useless. So he goes upstairs to find Maya, and the other Whelan kid is waiting for him. And in a rare moment of non-uselessness, Jamie actually stabs the remaining Whelan boy. He actually stabs him, and then he like pulls it out of his stomach, and he's coming towards him with the knife. And then Jamie is just like begging for his life, like sniveling, crying, begging for his life, that type of thing. And I'm like, dude, fight. You've been reading this Krav Maga book. All you do is punch this punching bag. If you don't fight, you're going to die. So you need to use all these skills you've been honing and fight. But he's begging for his life. That's how it goes. Meanwhile, Maya is in the woods, and she's found the red caps, their hovel. And she says she'll give them whatever they want if they'll help her. I'll give you whatever you want if you'll just help us. It's like, Maya, they're gonna take more. It's like whatever they give you, they take twice as much, or they take the equivalent. So if they save your life, they're going to take a life. Do you understand how that works? But anyway, that's what's going on. So she does make a bargain with the red caps. So back at the house, girl Whelan is smashing stuff downstairs, and there's like a fire around her. I guess it doesn't bother her. But then the fire suddenly goes out, and it's kind of like, huh? And so she wanders outside, and she finds Maya on the lawn, and Maya's water breaks. Of course it does. Maya's water breaks. And so Whelan girl is gonna kill her. She just pounces on her. But I really can't blame her, because, I mean, she found her brother's head in a bag, so I just don't blame her for her reaction to this. That's pretty normal. So while this is happening to Maya, Jamie is in the upstairs of the house with Daddy Whelan and the Whelan boy, and they're gonna kill him. And he's like, just tell me, just tell me where his body is. Just tell me where it is so I can bury him. Or just tell me where your woman is, because he thinks she's the one that did it. And that's what he wants. Like, just tell me. And so he finally, Jamie says, like, it was the red caps. And he's like, I'm gonna kill you because you're lying. Blah, blah, blah. But anyway, so they're about to kill him. And then in the hole where the ceiling is, aha, we're back to that. So there's a hole in the ceiling. They hear something and they look up. And it's it's the red cap. It's like, oh my God. And they hop out and he takes his knife and he throws it and stabs the Whelan, but he's not down yet. It's just a tiny knife. It doesn't do too much. So they hit him, and so the red cap is on the bed, and they're just looking at it, just like, what the fuck is that? What the fuck is that? It's like, and it's like, is it a monkey? It's like, it's wearing clothes. How can it be a monkey? So Daddy Whelan tells Whelan Jr. to go to the car to get the gun, because they're going to need it for these little annoying things. And then Daddy proceeds to, like, smash the red cap. Before he does, the red cap goes, no, Daddy, no! Just like that. No, Daddy, no! This is where it's starting to get comical. Like, at first, it was, when I first saw it, it's really creepy, and now it's kind of, like, creepy, also comical. But it's like, no, Daddy, no! It's like, oh my God, that's really, I don't know, creepy. I don't know. Anyway, so as I said, Junior's going to the car to get the gun, Daddy smashes him, Jamie's wherever, don't know. So back in the yard, Whelan Girl is trying to choke Maya, and the Redcaps come and they pull her off of her, and they just lay her, like, on the lawn. Then, on his way down to the kitchen, Whelan Jr., remember, he's going to the car to get the gun, he winds up getting confronted by a red cap. He gets a cleaver, and he slices him. But then a bunch of others show up, of course, and it's game on. And then out in the yard, this is how the whole scene plays out. And then back in the yard, the red caps slit Girl Whelan's stomach, and her insides start to fall out. It's very gruesome. It's quite gruesome. This whole like violent scene. Red caps are very violent, and her insides start to fall out, and she dies. Of course she dies because her insides are falling out. But anyway, so she dies, and then Daddy Whelan, he makes it down to the car. And while he's the one opening, it's like, I don't know where my son went, but he's opening the car to get the gun, and which he gets. And then his son, while he's doing that, his son is like, whatever happened to him in the kitchen, he is done. He's like, fuck. He's getting out of here. So he goes to the front, and he's trying to turn on the car, and Daddy goes over to, he's like, what are you doing? He's like, we have to go. We're done. He is like, no, we gotta get out of here. So a red cap comes up, and he slits Whelan Jr.'s throat. Daddy gets him out of the car. He's holding him. He says, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. Like, proud of what? He was a hoodlum. But he was your hoodlum, and that's what matters. So where is Jamie while all this is happening? Where is Jamie? Jamie's been hiding under the bed. He's been hiding under the bed this whole time, just hiding. So he peeps his little head out from under the bed. He's like, oh, Maya! Like, she's just this, the whole movie, she is just this afterthought anytime something happens. He's like, oh, Maya! So he runs out to the yard, and he runs past the red caps, and he sees what's going on, and he's like, oh my God, and he kicks at one, and they're like, no, or whatever, and Maya's like, no, they helped us, It's like, okay, whatever. So he finally makes it over to Maya, and they're holding each other, and then Daddy Whelan comes back out, sees his daughter. So his kids are all gone. It's very upsetting. Even if you're kind of a monster, I don't blame him for his reaction to any of this. I don't blame him. So he shoots one of the caps, and the caps run off. So the red caps run off. And so he's walking over towards Maya and Jamie with a gun, and he's reloading it. And he says something interesting about the caps. It's the same thing that I mentioned earlier. He's like, my mother always told me stories about him. He's just like he can't believe that this is happening, or he can't believe this is happening. And he's like, my mother always told me stories about him. People would make bargains with him and deals and ask for things. And he's like, but there's always a price. He's like, there's always a price when you ask something from them. There's always a price. So he brings up the gun, and then Jamie stands up and says, not this time. Settle this like men. Settle it like men. And Daddy Whelan's like, fuck this, and shoots him in the shoulder. Like, just shoots at him. It's like a buckshot, so it's not like a gun. It's like a buckshot. He just has to get close to him. So he says to like do any damage, which is good to know. So he's gonna kill him. And then who saves the day? Not the caps, Molly Dog. Molly Dog jumps out and she attacks him, and he kind of hits at her, and so she runs off. But it was enough to knock the gun from his hand, and so Maya scoots over towards the gun, grabs it, and she's like, how close do I have to be? And she shoots him in the face, and she shoots him in the face. And they are finally safe. End scene. Evening's not over because Maya is in labor, and I guess at this point it's just gonna be a home birth. So it's gonna be a home birth. The red caps are helping themselves to the bodies. They're going, feast, feast. And so I guess meat's back on the menu, boys. They're gonna eat good tonight, which is really creepy that they eat people too. That's really creepy. So in the early morning light, Maya gives birth to a healthy baby girl. And so I guess Jamie is not entirely useless. Maybe this is what he's good at, you know? He's a nurturer. He's not a fighter. He is a lover. He is not he's a nurturer, and he does a very good job helping her give birth. Very good job. Good on Jamie. Finally, you're good at something. So Maya and Jamie, they're looking at their new baby, and they're just like, man, what are people gonna think? And Jamie's like, yeah, I've got to clean up. There's blood everywhere. We got to clean this up. It's good that the red caps took the bodies away, but they don't seem concerned at all with like cops or anyone really coming for them, wondering where the Whelans are. Maybe the Whelans are just that much hated in the community. Like, no one seems to be big fans of them, that no one's really gonna care that they're gone. I guess just no one's gonna care, because they don't seem concerned at all about the police or bodies or anything, really. We're just gonna live our lives and be happy. So Jamie's cleaning up. He's good for that too. He's a cleaner. And he's put on, you know, his headphones, and they're noise canceling. He puts on these noise canceling headphones, and Maya's looking after the baby, and, you know, she goes to like the bathroom, walks away for a second, but she sees this in the back, kind of like the corner of her eye. She sees like a little shimmering light, and she's like, oh my God. She's like, what is that? Like, what is that? And it is the, well, we don't know. We know it's the red caps. But she goes into where the baby is, and the baby is gone. And she's like, and she looks out the garden, and I think, and we don't see what she sees, but I think she sees the red caps running off with her baby. And she's like, no, no, no. So she's screaming for Jamie. Jamie is, of course, not... He's got his headphones on, and she doesn't have time for that. She has to go get the baby now. This is mama bear protection in action, go. I have got to go and get my baby from these creatures. So she's running through the woods, running towards their hovel to get her child from the red caps. So Maya makes it to the little stone hovel that goes underground, and so it's just big enough that she can squeeze in and go down there, because she is going for where she can hear her baby, so she's just following the sounds, and the caps, I guess they're in their little hut parts of it, so she's down there, and she hears her baby, so she goes towards this room, and she sees a woman there who looks 10,000 years older than sand. She is old and not well put together. She did not age well at all. At all. She looks like the Crypt Keeper. Anyway, so her baby's at her feet in her little bassinet, and Maya's like, please, like it's my baby. And the old woman she goes, my baby. And she's like, no, it's my baby. And then she's like, please. And then a little red cap just kind of comes out. He's like, get back. And Maya's like, please, like, take me. Give me my baby, just take me. And the woman's like, I don't want you, you're too old. And Maya's like really upset. And she's like, this is my baby. And the woman's like, it happened to me when I was a baby. And Maya realizes that this woman is Maeve's daughter. She's just been living underground with these creatures her entire life. So no wonder she has not aged well. Because she's probably not supposed to be that old. But, you know, there's no skincare underground with the red caps. There's no oil of Olay down there. So Maya starts crying. She's very upset. And then they all start just kind of laughing at her. Like, hey, cry baby. And Maya, just something in her snaps. And so she gets one of the little knives and she puts it up to the red cap. And she's not going to do it. And so she stabs him. And then from there, she goes after the woman. She's like, ah! She goes after the old woman. And she kills her like with her bare hands. Like how Pedro Pascal was killed in Game of Thrones. You know the scene. You know what happened. But anyway, so she kills him. She kills her that way. And she picks up the baby. She picks up her baby and she leaves. And the red caps are now like in the little main hallway, and they're like going, ooh. And they're like kind of worshiping her. And it's like, it's just kind of like, huh. So back at home, Jamie finally realizes his family's gone, but they've already returned, and the baby's in her little bassinet. He picks her up, and he goes outside, and he sees Maya. It's like, just in time. And the little red caps are kind of like dancing around her. And it's just this little ceremony, and she is going to be the red cap mother. And so she drinks blood from a skull, a floating skull as a matter of fact. It's just floating, and she drinks the blood from it. And then it starts raining, and there's thunder, and Jamie screams, ah! But it's like, he's the one holding the baby. He's like, ah! And it's like, well. And then they kind of smile and laugh at each other. And so the red caps are just dancing and chanting around her, and she is now the red cap mother. She has stepped into her power. She is no longer a victim. And I think that is the point of the film, is just to see her transition from being this victim her entire life to finally stepping into her own strength, which she has found through motherhood. And no, she will never be a victim again. And now she has this little army of little people to do her bidding. And that is the end of the movie. Well, guys, that was nuts. It was a crazy film. I recommend it for your spooky season viewing pleasure. I like it. It's a little bit different. You don't always see movies about like fae folk and stuff like that. So I think it's just something different and unique. Speaking of spooky season, it is my favorite time of year. So I'll have lots more content coming out. I have more free time these days. And yeah, I'm also streaming on Twitch now. I'm gonna be playing some games. Some horror games. I'm playing The Forest right now. That's what I'm playing. I'm playing with somebody. I've also played it on my own. That's really scary. But also other types of games, so I'll be on there. And if you're interested in any of that, please go over there. The link is on my links. If you're interested or not, if you're not interested, don't do it. You know, don't have to. But yeah, this was fun. There'll be more, and I will see you in the next one. Tchauzinho.